Nigerian Senate has confirmed the appointment of 11 Supreme Court justices appointed by President Bola Tinubu to fill vacancies on the Apex Court bench. This confirmation was sequel to the consideration of a report by Senate Committee on Judiciary, Human Rights and Legal Matters at Thursday's plenary. Correspondent Kolojo sent in this report. The chairman of the committee, Senator Mohammed Monguno, while presenting the panel report, said that the nomination and appointment satisfied the constitutional provisions of Section 231, subsection 3, which states that an individual needs 15 years' experience on the bar to be qualified for the Supreme Court justice. DC said the committee members were satisfied with the nomination of justices and therefore recommended their confirmation.
The committee, after the screening exercise, deliberated on the nominees' suitability for appointments as justices of the Supreme Court of Nigeria and hereby make the following findings. That the appointment of the nominees satisfy the requirements of the provisions of Section 231, subsection 2 and subsection 3 of the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, 1999, as amended. That there is no criminal record or adverse report found against the nominees, as record checks and other forms of investigation by relevant security agencies did not reveal any negative trace against them.
Speaking on the committee's report before the confirmation, some lawmakers expressed concern over the delay in the appointment of justices for the Supreme Court bench, while commending President Tinubu for reflecting federal character in the appointments.
And should also perhaps pass it to the executive, which is the appointing authority. That here we are screening 11 justices for the Supreme Court at the same time. Very commendable act the president has done. But we shouldn't be doing this at this time. For so long these vacancies have existed. They could have been filled long before now. We had a situation where areas in this court, in this country, were left without representation, leading to discussions and accusations about perceived marginalization. Even the perception of it was not good.
It's also drawn from page 9. Page 9 of this report. If you look at the distribution of the 21 justices of the Supreme Court of Nigeria as presently constituted, Mr. President, you will immediately see that great job was done in balancing nominations across the 6 geopolitical zones. There is no zone in Nigeria who will say they don't have somebody who is credible at the apex court.
With my colleagues in the Senate, let us look at the budget of the federal judiciary, especially also in the Court of Appeal and industrial courts, all the courts. When you have relations in these courts, you will find out that they are not even coping up with life. So how can they give good justice in the open court of law? It's going to be really difficult, Mr. President. And also, it is not right to leave justice of Supreme Court for so long. I'm adding my voice to former Governor Bayelsa.
For the first time, we have a Supreme Court justice from Plateau State. Justice Sankey is from Plateau. This is the first time that we are celebrating a Supreme Court justice too in Nigeria. So for this alone, even for the sympathy for people of Plateau State, I think this presentation, these people should be given accelerated confirmation.
Speaking on the committee's report before the confirmation, some lawmakers expressed concern over the delay in the appointment of justices for the Supreme Court bench, while commending President Tinubu for reflecting federal character in the appointments.
The time has come, Mr. President, for both the legislature and the executive arms to give the judiciary a worthwhile financial attention. We should give them more resources because They can do better. It's not enough to increase the number of justices. Yes, that will reduce some burden.
Meanwhile, the immediate past Senate President Ahmed Lawan called on the National Assembly and the Presidency to improve the funding of the judiciary. After hours of queries and commendations, the Senate approved the recommendation of the committee.
Distinguished colleagues, will the Senate confirm the nomination of Mrs. Oladunoye Sadat Olayinka for appointment as Commissioner representing Lagos State in the National Population Commission? Those in favor say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. The nomination of Mrs. Oladunoye Sadat Olayinka is hereby confirmed as a Commissioner representing Lagos State in the National Population Commission.
The appointment of Supreme Court justices were recommended by the National Judicial Council (NJC) to fill vacant positions that arose as a result of the death and resignation of some justices of the Apex Court. In similar development, the upper chamber confirmed the appointment of Olayinka Oladunjoye as a federal commissioner representing Lagos State in the National Population Commission (NPC).
Let me congratulate all the nominees hereby confirmed by the Senate of the Federal Republic of Nigeria as justices of the Supreme Court of Nigeria, and pray that God will give them the wisdom, the enablement, the strength of character, and the will to carry out justice in our dear country. And I must also commend Mr. President for the appointment across states, irrespective of political leanings. So I know when my brother, Senator Dixon, was speaking, he made mention of the fact that Bayelsa is represented in this list.
The Senate, however, adjourned this plenary till December 29 to allow for Christmas celebrations. Lawmakers will have to return after the Christmas holiday to consider and pass the 2024 appropriation bill.